everyone, back again for another video. This time more of a straightforward review of Gemini Man. Gemini Man follows a retired special ops agent played by Will Smith named Henry, who is being hunted down by the people he used to work for, and one of the people they send is a younger clone of himself. That's the basic premise. Now, honestly, there's really not much else to the plot other than that. Part of the reason for that is that this film was initially conceived in the 90s, back when high concept action thrillers were all the rage, like the movie Face Off. You've probably seen that. That's like the kind of action thrillers I'm talking about. And I did get a little bit of a Face Off vibe from this film. But, of course, it's been through development hell for a while. The script's been reworked multiple times. Multiple directors have been attached before Ang Lee finally was settled on. And yeah, now we're here. And the 90s vibe is there. Yeah, the basic story doesn't really have much else to it. I mean, they certainly bring up themes that relate to cloning, nature versus nurture, those kinds of stuff. They're briefly brought up, but they don't really seem to go anywhere with it. And that's probably out of Ang Lee's hands because, again, well, not again, but Ang Lee does a good job making films that have some sort of social commentary. I love Brokeback Mountain. And if he were to do something like this as his project, as his from his own mind, he'll probably put in the necessary work to actually iron things out. But of course, this isn't one of those scenarios. Now, let's talk about the performances. The supporting characters range from average, standard, still enjoyable, to above average. Yeah, the two main supporting characters, I forgot the actress's name, but she was pretty good in this film. Benedict Wong was entertaining. He had some nice humor moments. And the head antagonist, I forgot his name already, but he was again standard. Nothing too goofy or serious or flawed with him, I guess. Now, of course, we've got Will Smith, and Will Smith is usually one of those actors that just sort of plays a slightly different variation of himself. But he's also very charismatic and enjoyable, so usually people don't really mind that so much. Now, in this film, he still has that Will Smith feel to it in certain moments, of course, but he does play this actually fairly seriously, and I respect him for it. He does have some good, strong acting moments in this film. Now, of course, the one thing that's all been talked about in this film, the technology used to create a younger clone version of Will Smith. Now, based on what I have come across, they didn't actually use de-aging CGI. They used actually motion capture. Now, I've heard from several other different views that there are moments where this works pretty well and moments where it is pretty obvious. Mainly focused during the few times he's in direct bright sunlight, which I can get. But honestly, I've seen more scenes in this film that actually show that's pretty good instead of being pretty fake. So overall, I am impressed with the technology used. I mean, of course, there's the whole thing that how this film is shot in, I think 120 frames per second or minute. And I came across an article saying that's impossible to show in the US except for maybe these 14 theaters, and even then they're missing these qualifications. So why would you make a movie that these people had to know was impossible to show in the way they wanted it to be shown? I just don't really get that. But like I said, overall I'm still pretty impressed. But of course, overall, taking into account technology, acting, story, directing, writing, it's alright. I mean, if it comes up on the streaming service I'm already subscribed to, I could bring it out for like a small party or something like that. But it's just not. It didn't really go in the direction I kind of like wanted to go from an Ang Lee film. And as far as the action goes, though, it is fun action. But I can see this film gain some sort of a cult following. I can see that happening. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Gemini, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share. See you guys next time.